situation you don't realize. So let's examine with a critical eye. Put on your glasses and let it magnify the truth that lies hidden under all those lies. Cause everybody has nobility, and if you look beyond what your eyes can see, you'll see they're just like you and me, and now we're giving you the remedy. Welcome to the Remedy Podcast. This podcast is a project of WEBB Squared, a North Carolina nonprofit that works to increase wealth for Black businesses through connection, network, and opportunity. Our host is Stephanie Terry, the Executive Director of WEBB Squared, and our co-hosts are Associate Director Rinnie and myself, Mashallah Salaam. I am the Media and Production Specialist. In this podcast, we hope to bring consciousness to the racial divide and speak on emerging new narratives about race. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you will enjoy the podcast.
Take two.
Welcome to the Remedy Podcast and all of our technical issues and difficulties.
Yeah, that's a part of our world now. You know what, Mashallah? I'm going to get you one of those things, those signs that snaps.
Oh, the slate?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The director slate. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
You want one, Mashallah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can find one.
Then she can say lights, computer, action.
So anyway, yeah. So what we were talking about being happy and excited for cooking.
Yeah, because it's Thanksgiving. It's that time of year again.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of family feast do you guys like to cook? We talked about mashed potatoes and mac and cheese last week, but do you guys do turkey or something else?
Yeah, we do turkey. Every Black person does the same meal, Rinnie.
Oh, okay. And what's that?
Turkey, mac and cheese, candy yams, collard greens, cornbread, sweet potato pie, potato salad.
The only thing on that we have in common is the turkey.
Oh my God.
For us, it's mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, rolls. We don't I guess we just don't do sweet potatoes, and stuffing.
What about the dessert?
I don't know. My mom's making this year. She hasn't told me what she's making for dessert. It's probably going to be pumpkin pie, I imagine.
So y'all have like 4 things?
Well, it's just the 2 of us. I don't think we need much more than that.
Somebody made a status and it said, "Don't post your plate on Thanksgiving. We are all eating the same thing."
Exactly. So anyway, but I'm also excited because Malachi is home from college. So he rode an airplane for the first time by himself, did transfers and everything. I said, "I'm so proud of you."
Wow.
He said, "Why? All I do is just get on the plane." Yeah.
That's exciting. What about you, Mashallah? What do your family do for Thanksgiving?
I'm going to my brother and his wife's house. I think maybe a few of my other brothers are going to be there. He's a really good cook, and last time we went over there, it was really nice, and we enjoyed the food.
Now, is your sister going to be there?
My sister is going to be with her husband's family.
What? Nice. So anyway, we just had oh my gosh, I'm going to actually go back and listen to our own podcast because both of those conversations were incredible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. But here's something. So I had an amazing thought process happen to me, maybe last week it was. And I woke up for the first time in my life. And I woke up as a human being first and not as a Black woman.
Wow, what does that mean?
That's never happened to me before.
Wow.
Ain't that crazy?
But I mean, how does that feel? What does that mean? What's the internal process that makes you
felt like
free?
It felt like freedom and it felt like power. Now, I'm not saying that I really want to unpack this. I just don't know how. But it wasn't that I wasn't saying that I wasn't Black. It's just that I was sitting in a mental and emotional state where I was not leading with it. I can't explain it. Mashallah, does this make any sense to you, or do I sound like I just sold out me and the entire race?
No, it doesn't sound like you sold out. But like Rinnie, I do have the question of how was it different from your other experiences waking up? Like, can you take us through that and what makes it different from the other times or moments?
I don't even think that, okay, that's a good question. You were talking to me, not Rinnie, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't even think that I'll wake up and say, oh, I'm a Black woman. It's kind of like the air you breathe. It's like invisible. It's just like it's there, And what do I mean by that? I done got myself in some deep water now. I need to explain myself. It felt like for the first time, it's like I could experience myself outside of how I know myself. Yeah. Like other than a compilation of my experiences, like greater than, like not greater, but outside of that, outside of all those experiences that informed me, everything that made me who I am, for the first time, it wasn't just once, I'm able to like kind of like emotionally and mentally feel more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. Not other than that, but in addition to that, like more than that. And I was able to like just shift for some moments, like me as me, but more than the experiences, the physical experiences that made me. It's an amazing feeling. Amazing.
Well, and I think that is a good jumping in point to thinking about what are our identities, and if we're more than those identities, I mean, what it sounds like is the kind of an intense spiritual experience where you're kind of stepping into something beyond what you usually step into.
So the way that you describe that, it sounds like how you feel when you finally feel like you're healing or healed.
Mm-hmm. That sounds accurate. I don't know if I would say healing.
Do you feel like the experience has in some way changed how you identify yourself on any like deeper level?
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not quite sure what. I feel really vulnerable right now, like even admitting this, because I could hear like the critics. I have critics in my head, and I'm imagining the people that may be listening that are saying like, how could you, you're Black, and I am Black, very proud to be a beautiful, I think, powerful Black woman, but I'm also more than that. Like I'm more than that, way more, especially the way Black has. It's a made-up construct. Before we were Black, we were wherever, what our families were, what our tribes were, what our country were. Also, with that, we're also who our Creator says, who our source says we are. But like, I guess maybe that's it. Like I have, said the words, oh, I'm a child of God. Oh, our Father, oh, my Father, I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. I've said those words many times, but for the first times in my life now, because it's not just one on occasion, I'm actually experiencing what that feels like. That's what I'm trying to say. Like leading with that and sitting in that identity. And it feels amazing.
Yeah, because we all know, especially after going through the equity training and that whole process, we know that Black was a term used in order to take away our humanity.
I can remember sitting in REI classes and I would hear people say like, I don't think of myself as Black. I am a human being. And I would get so mad. I was like, you're Black. What do the police call you? What do the institutions? And because I thought maybe they were like trying to avoid an inevitable and maybe the pain associated with it. So it was almost like a defense mechanism to deal with racism. You know what I mean? Like, let me just disassociate. maybe that was true. Maybe I was judging wrong, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm not trying to like disassociate myself with, you know, the quote unquote reality. What do you think, Rinnie? I put this towards not reflecting on what I'm saying about my identity as a Black person, but like, what about this whole identity of whiteness, you know, versus who you are? Because it's like, if you turn a jewel, you know, I think, I may be wrong, but I think white people get to be human beings whenever they want to check out from whatever white people are doing that's destructive. You mean like, oh, I'm an individual, you know, that's not my people. So,
well, truthfully, I don't think white people have to think about being white like other people have to think about being Black or brown, or, you know, I mean, that was part of my awakening, taking the racial equity trainings. Is, wow, we don't walk around thinking, hey, I'm white. We don't have to. You know, it's a white world. That's our reality. And so we probably do wake up every day putting our humanity first instead of our color first, you know. And, you know, you're talking about maybe being dissociated a little bit from being a Black person. I kind of want to flip it around and say that I think in general, white people are dissociated from just being human. You know,
yeah, because I was going to say,
because we deny the humanity of so many other people just by basically living in a white world. And so, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I'm trying on a more conscious level to think about what it means to be white, like all the time, because I think for the first 47 years of my life, I haven't had to do that. You know, it's just been only in the last like few years that I've actually started really consciously coming to terms with being a white person in a white world, and what does that mean for other people and stuff. So yeah, this is very important. Whereas you're waking up feeling your humanity, I'm waking up feeling my whiteness. And you know, where that will go and where those conversations will go for us, we'll find out as the years like go by. But yeah, I mean, I celebrate the liberation that you're feeling, and, you know, hope that I can help lift you up in that.
Yeah, this is some heavy stuff. I wish I wouldn't even have said that. Now I feel embarrassed.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. This helps open up a conversation. I mean, this is what the remedy is all about. It's, you know,
where is the embarrassment coming from?
I don't know. I don't even know. It just feels like maybe this is a thought that's evolving. Maybe like I'm still trying to understand it, and I shared, you know, maybe I'll be in a different place at another point. Maybe, I don't know. You know, I'm trying to be on this podcast acting like I'm a doggone expert. Just trying to figure it out like everybody else.
Well, I think that's one of the great ways that we've branded ourselves, is not that we're experts and like that we have all the answers, but we think that, you know, the answers lay in just having the conversations. And, you know, yeah. I think what we're trying to do is identify what do we all share in common in order to create a better world for everybody, you know. But in order to do that, you have to unpack all of the divisions that divide us.
Mashallah, go ahead.
Remember what Salteria said last week? One of her friends wrote a poem, and it was about how Africans don't see themselves as Black or something like that.
Oh, that's right, Mashallah.
Yeah,
right.
That's what that reminds me of, what this conversation reminds me of.
That's right. I forgot about that poem. She did read that and say that before we were, you know, oppressed and traumatized, you know, we were something different. And then something else that she said that I keep thinking about. And she said, and at the same time, I also need to understand, you know, myself as, you know, my skin color to be safe, you know, to make sure that I walk around, you know, safe. And that struck a chord with me when she said that. It made me, you know, on a lot of hands, that's true. And it made me sad. But then on like a little tiny hand somewhere, I was like, how can that like be disrupted permanently? I know this identity thing is like really huge, like how you answer the question, who are you?
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, we often identify ourselves based on the social constructs of race, sex, gender, sexual orientation, all that stuff. But, you know, on a deeper level, like the who are yous, I mean, if you're at a party and you're getting to know people, you don't actually just say, who are you? And if people say, what do you do? You know, like they want to judge you based on like your work, you know, and that kind of thing. But like the who are yous, I just think of how wonderful it would be if we did ask that question and people kind of like answered from, you know, I'm a writer, I'm a thinker, I'm a philosopher, I'm a theologian, I'm an artist, you know, I paint pictures, I'm a creator, I'm a visionary. I mean, that's what I would love to hear. And I think that we don't identify ourselves on, you know, who we are on a deep internal inner, like what is our relationship to the world from our inner life and not from like our outer life, from our physical, but from like our inner, you know, our inner reality. And I just wonder if we were able to sit in that inner world more often and embrace it and celebrate it, if we would find more about what identities we have in common versus like just this surface levels, you know, physical, societal level of identities that are thrust upon us.
Yeah. But even those things, like I'm a writer, I'm a painter, I'm a farmer, those are all things that you do. You know what I'm saying? And they may be things that you like to do. So like there's some questions of like, there are the things that you do, there are the things that you like, there are the things that you dislike, there are the things that you have, and they may inform who you are, but who are you is a different question. You know, who are you? What are you? Like those are, do you see what I'm saying? Like what are you? Who are you?
How do you
Go ahead, Mashallah.
I'm just wondering, as far as who are you, how else do you answer that? Like, you could answer by saying, I am a spiritual being, but I mean, you don't want to repeat the same thing every time for every person. So how else could you answer that question?
But look at what you just said, Mashallah. You said you don't want to repeat that every time with every person. And so I think we're so used to differentiating, you know, but really like I am, like the answer to that question, you know, I am blank. I think that's where we would find out that we're like, you really answered that question from a biological and maybe spiritual perspective, or even the scientific, we would all be saying the same things. Do you see what I mean? Like we would be saying, I mean, the easiest answer is I am a human being. I am a human being. I am being. And, you know, you can be being different things all throughout, but I don't know. These are just some questions, but you know, who are we really? Because what's happening now is that we are answering that questions with all the ways, all of our preferences and likes and dislikes and passions. And it's not helping us move towards peace, I'll tell you that. Because even in the differences, it's like, well, which one is better? Well, which one is right? You know, which one is greater? Yeah. I don't know. Don't bust a brain cell.
Was there ever a point, speaking of when people ask you, what do you do? Was there ever a point where you didn't want to tell someone what you did?
Yes, lots of times, because I was ashamed. You know, maybe I was, you know, working in a grocery store, or, you know, maybe a lot of times I was a stay-at-home mom, and that wasn't ambitious enough. But what about you, Rinnie?
I guess, no, I don't think I ever, you know, didn't want to tell people what I did. I can't think of a time. I think that I'm not somebody who likes small talk though. So it's like, it feels like conversations always start out with like, what do you do? And I just always thought that it would be really cool that we had different questions to answer, when we met people for the first time. So instead of like, what do you do? Like, how do you do it? Or how do you move through the world? Or even like, because it's easy to say, yeah, I work at a nonprofit, I would rather hear that somebody say something like, oh yeah, like I spend my time walking in nature and looking at trees, like how do people connect with their spirit and their soul, and what turns them on, like in the world? That would be a much better question. Maybe I should start that. Like, I'm going to go to a party with people I don't know next week. I can say, hey, what turns you on? And not in a sexual way. What turns you on, like, life-wise, like.
Good luck with that, Rinnie.
What makes your spiritual light shine? Like, what parts of life do you really connect with that make you feel completely alive?
Yeah, so just thinking about the identities, like who we say we are when you answer that question, mm-hmm. Who are you? What are you? The real question is, why are you? Ooh. Why are you?
Why am I here?
Yeah, like... why are you here on the planet? Hey, we came here from the other side. Why are you here on the planet? What'd you come for?
Oh, that's an interesting question. What did you come here to do?
What'd you come here for?
Well, the work of Bill Plotkin, right? I mean, he's got this whole like breakdown of the soul as everybody has their own individual purpose that we kind of wake up to, and that most people don't ever find it. But once in a great while, someone does find it and they know exactly why they're here. And then, that's fascinating for me. Like, there are people out there who actually know why they're here. And I feel like I don't know. I don't know why I chose.
We could be like, hey,
this realm to manifest my
parents gave me this name. Yeah, but I'm still trying to remember what I came here for. Maybe you can help me.
I remember in an earlier conversation, you said that you came here to make people happy.
Yes. I came to remind people how beautiful they are. Like, I remember. I didn't know how I was going to do that. And guess what? Before I could do that, I had to remember. Even though I had a clue, like I remember saying that, like I came here to remind people how beautiful they are and to make them and to, bring happiness. But then I was so unhappy. So first I had to do it for myself, figure out how to do it. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know. There ain't no first, second, third. It's just a life. At some points in time, I discovered, my purpose, but it wasn't linear.
Yeah, I don't think it really ever is.
We hope that some of these questions and thoughts that we're pondering, I can't wait for when we can figure out how to have people just join us and it not be crazy people trying to crash our conversation. But yeah, because, we're just like, these are some questions that we're just thinking about. And identity is just so huge these days. People, since when do you remember where every little thing becomes a fight? The Democrats versus the Republicans, the liberals versus the anti-vaxxers versus the vax. I mean, it's just crazy.
And it doesn't seem to be letting up. It doesn't seem to be letting up. And, it's almost like I feel like I've gotten to the point where I can't even like turn on the news. It's not news anymore. It's just all commentary about the other side, whoever they don't happen to like and how awful they are. And, it's like, okay, I can't bring any more of this negativity into my spirit,
And somewhere in the middle of that is the truth, the quiet, simple truth that needs no defense because it is what it is. Underneath all that noise, it's just the truth. So we won't keep belaboring this point because I'm getting ready to make some broth for my stuffing.
Wow.
And some cake.
All right. I guess that's a wrap. We will be back next week with another fun conversation, I imagine.
We love you. See y'all later.
No, we haven't said our catchphrase yet.
Oh, the catchphrase.
The revolution begins with dialogue.
Woohoo! Yes, it does.
All right.
All right. See you later.
This has been a joint podcast of WEBB Squared and Afro Future Productions. For those of you interested in learning more about our work at WEBB Squared, you can find out more at webbsquared.org. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This is our conscious conversation. We hope you will subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. Join the Remedy Membership Forum on Patreon to join us monthly for our members-only discussion. That's it for today. Until next week, thanks for listening. What's underneath the situation you don't realize? So let's examine with a critical eye. Put on your glasses and let it magnify the truth that lies hidden under all those lies. Cause everybody has nobility, and if you look beyond what your eyes can see, you'll see they're just like you and me, and now we're giving you the remedy.